Thank you very much. Greetings, everybody. And Doc, there are many docs here. Dr. Boshoman, thank you very much for the invite, and congratulations to you and your colleagues for achieving such a great milestone. What I would like to talk to you about, interestingly, when I did this, when I was thinking about this yesterday, I had not spoken to Bonzo. Bonzo is my colleague. I hadn't spoken to Bonzo, and we ended up coming up with the same title, Living an Intentional Life. And I think it really just talks to the reason why we're here today. The reason we are here today is because the founders of the different branches of AET were very intentional about what they wanted to see life, or rather where life going someday. So importantly, I just want to remind us all, both the young and the old like me, that I know I don't look old, but I am. So I always have to remind people that I'm especially the Kabo guys, the Kabo Kaz guys, I have to remind them that, guys, I'm actually as old as your parents. So feel free to call me Mama Kani or Gogo Kani, even, because I am a grandmother, believe it or not. But I think importantly, we live in an exponentially changing world. There are a lot of changes that are happening around us. Lack of a vision results with that person who hasn't planned for their life living other people's vision. So at some stage in his life, Dr. Bosch decided that he didn't want anybody in his neighborhood to fix his car. He wanted to fix his own car. Yeah. And of course, that dream has evolved a whole lot more. But it started with him just having that intention. And it then drove what we see happening today, and we are yet to see a lot more going on. But importantly then, and I want to also encourage the parents. You know, I grew up in an era where, yes, I had a lot of mentors and role models, but I didn't have a coach. I only discovered what coaching was outside of sports when I started working. And yes, we've got a lot of coaches in our lives. The difference, of course, is the models that are used don't always hold us accountable, make sure that we take charge of where we are going, and you know, with them really just holding us accountable. So what I really just want to talk about is what is important, or what are the important requirements to live an intentional life. It's important that there is a vision. Without a vision, we wouldn't be here today. I mean, we've heard quite a few people actually speak about what they've achieved in their various spheres as a result of having a vision. Call it a dream, call it whatever you like it. But the truth is, it starts with dreaming of a particular life, and it shouldn't end there. Because for you to be able to achieve that dream needs to be clear about what your future, what you want your future to look like. And some visions are very, very scary. So if you've got a vision and it's scary when you look at it and you think like it's unachievable, you're actually in a very good place. Because guess what? Nobody has ever achieved their vision on their own. We all need each other to be able to do that, but it's got to be clear. Once you have your vision, write it down. The Bible says that as well. Write it down. Make sure it's clear. Make sure you put it in a place where you can see it on a regular basis, because guess what it does when you see it? It propels you, it reminds you especially on difficult days when you feel like you're wasting your time. It reminds you that you're on the right track. You remember your why. Once you've got that vision, it's important that you put goals together. And those goals must be smart. They must be specific, they must be measurable, they must be achievable, realistic, and also related to time. You know, you've got to know that this year, this is what I want to achieve. But that also then needs to go with various other things like actions. You've got to also consider your reality. Your reality, regardless of how negative or positive it is. And the truth is, we all have both aspects in our reality. There are barriers, but there are also a lot of other things that support where we are going. It's important that you take time to sit down and actually look at what works in your favor, what doesn't work in your favor in your current reality. Look at your options, look at your obstacles, and identify what resources do you have to get where you're going, be it short term, medium term, and long term. Who can help you in achieving that particular goal? Because remember, you can have a lot of goals. Eventually, all of them have to be linked to your vision. You know, and so if, for instance, my health goal is to become fit, if that was my goal, I can't be waking up every day. I mean, really now, you know, and I can't be postponing every day. The truth is, life happens along the way. And with life happening along the way, there are times where we're going to fail. The important thing is reflection. Reflect on what were you supposed to do, why it didn't happen if it was supposed to happen. And if it happened but not in an anticipated way, identify what went wrong. Sometimes what went right, because we can be pleasantly surprised as well.
Yes.
And be kind to yourself, because guess what? Nobody else will be. We often want to give kindness to other people, but we're pouring from an empty cup. You know, we were getting water just now. In fact, this whole morning and afternoon, we're getting water so we can quench our thirst in this heat. If those bottles were empty, they were going to be useless to us. And so if you're going to be kind to other people but not bestow the same kindness for yourself, that's self-hate. Yet we want to point fingers at other people and blame them for why we're not getting where we think we want to get. Lastly, your will is important. We all have a certain level of strong will. Identify what yours is, how it aligns to your vision. But also remember, we've got habits that are actually not talking to who we want to be in the near or far future. Identify those habits, change them. Remember, be kind to yourself. If it didn't work today, try again tomorrow, and again and again and again. As a parent to a teenager, I'm going through a very difficult part of my life, from having had the sweetest child ever, and suddenly I wake up and I cannot recognize this person that I'm with on a daily basis, you know, except for every now and again she comes out. But I've realized that she's going through her own journey. It's taught me a lot about the fact that I don't own her, I don't control her. I'm a guide, and it's challenging my beliefs because I thought differently. And so there are days when I really go to bed and reflect and think, I think I failed today as a mother. I've had to learn to apologize.
Yes.
Something my parents never ever had to do to me. But I'm learning that just because I grew up a particular way doesn't necessarily mean that I've got to bring her up exactly the same way. There are a lot of great nuggets from how I was brought up. And so with that failing and reflection, it gives me yet another day on a daily basis to say, okay, how did I do today? How do I do differently tomorrow? You know, whether it's parenting, whether it's work-related stuff or any other relationships that I have. Because guess what? Failure happens to every single one of us. Some people a lot more than others. Your beliefs are very, very important when you go through failure. How do you identify yourself? What do you believe as a result of your identity? How do you then feel as a result of your belief and how you identify with yourself? And what actions do you put in place? Now, as you work towards your vision, you need to actually review your belief system, how you feel, how much do you like yourself actually? Because guess what? A lot of us don't like ourselves. And that's why a lot of people can never put the phone down and just sit quietly without being occupied by anything at all. So it's important that we learn to like ourselves enough to be able to spend time thinking. Because remember, if you've got a great vision, you need to invest in it. And some of it includes taking time off to review and plan and change whatever needs to be changed to ensure that you achieve that vision. There are a lot of questions you could ask. You know, your why is important. Why do you want to achieve that vision that you want? How will it change your life? How will it change other people's lives? What I've learned is that a lot of visionaries have achieved their visions not because they wanted to get money out of it. They wanted to change other people's lives. And if money comes, in most cases it does. If money comes with it, great. But another thing, remember, you can never achieve your vision on your own. And so be kind to yourself so that you can extend the same courtesy to other people. Because guess what? I'm here today because when I met Doc, I was attracted by his vision. But if I wasn't a nice person, I wouldn't have been able to talk to him nicely. And even if I had, chances are it would have been a once-off and I wouldn't be standing here today. So I really just want to urge every single one of us to take time and review. I mean, some people write their visions and they pack them in files and they don't look at them for 3 years and they wonder why certain things are not happening as fast as they should. Sometimes it's really because you've made a wrong turn along the way. And so by reviewing and actually being self-aware is important in understanding where you might have taken a wrong turn. The truth, of course, is that life is not a straight line. Disappointments happen, failures happen. What I've learned is that all of those negative things become a gift later on as you propel towards the direction that you've decided to take. Hopefully, those are words, you find those to be words of wisdom. I thank you very much for this time.
I have a last speaker, and I think him intentionally because I believe this man, not only is he inspirational, he's a can-do man. There are very few people that step up and say, I'm going to do this. You'll crack it, find it, get a solution. Always ready to teach you. Always humble with a smile. I call him the tech guy. I call him the guy with the gadgets. Soli, Wakafani, come bless us, please. Wow. Give him a round of applause. Before you come with Mikey, just to Olefa relation, Soli is the man behind the official music video ya Chabarabone. Soli shot that music video one man. What possibly will need a whole production team. We are talking plus minus 30 to 40 because that's what you have for people who shoot movies. Soli came IT with just an assistant over to the filter. So Chabarabone has opened many doors for the both of us, Dad included. I like mentioning this because Dad in the music video, it's for the toolbox. Is anyone aware how many kgs a toolbox with all its tools weighs? Are you familiar? No. Dad was dancing with the toolbox. So not only did I have Iron Man, Dad on the side supporting, Soli behind the lens, but this is your moment, Soli.
Wow. And she knows very well that I don't like standing in front of people. I prefer doing things behind the scenes because I'm one person who never got to sell myself. My work always sells. Oh, yeah. So for the first time I met Dr. Bosch, I think it was in Johannesburg, and I got to resign where I was working mainly because I saw something that I always wanted to have in my life, except the employment where I was employed, because I always felt like I was incomplete with being within the space where I was. Before I met Dr. Bosch, I'm originally from Limpopo in Haskukuni. So I left home. I said to my mom, I'm going to Johannesburg to look for employment. And I lied to my mom that I already found employment in Johannesburg, knowing that I never knew anyone actually in Johannesburg. So first day I landed in Johannesburg, I slept under the bridge. I think I slept under the bridge for almost 4 to 5 days. Trying to talk to people. No one ever wanted to listen to me, but I always knew what I really wanted in around Johannesburg. Fast forward, reason why I'm giving the message that I'm giving, the reason why I'm saying what I want to say right now, it's mainly because this is what I always tell people. All of the people who always look at me get to see everything that I do and all that whatsoever. I can attest, I can almost pull up my whole entire records, academic records and all that, put them on table. And if we were to compare them to the level of skills, level of knowledge that I have in my life, they don't even match. I'll say out of all the qualifications that I have in my life, with the work that I can be able to do, I hold almost 200% over 10% of the qualifications that I have. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because we as the youngsters always have that narrative here, because we have the AET, because we have Harbour Cars, and when I come to Harbour Cars, when I learn, I will just learn, and after that, at the end of the day, when I have a qualification, the qualification is what is going to do things for me. We have a lot of unemployed youth currently in our country because most people always believe that going to school, it basically means is the thing that they will definitely get to create future for you. This is what I always say to majority of people. I said it to Dr. Bosch. The best mentor is made by the best mentee. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because of the very same thing that I just said, to say people come to Harbour Cars, people come to the AT and other institutions believing that is what is going to create future for them. Turning out to forget that, matter of fact, the thing that creates future for you is not basically qualification as per se. It's how you think, the level of your material, the level of how you think. I'm going to put it in a very simple way. I remember when I started off with Dr. Bosch, I call him Dr. Bosch. The reason why I call him Dr. Bosch because he gave me even beyond what I expected from him. I wanted to learn, but he gave me a father figure when I got into his life. This is how I got to learn from Dr. Bosch. Dr. Bosch never have time. You call him and he will say, Morena, what's happening, Dr. Bosch? He will say, okay, let me pick up this phone call, I'll come back to you. Then he'll come back to you probably after 3 days. So in most cases, what I'll do is, he says he'll come back to me within 30 minutes, but he doesn't come back to me. I'll drive all the way. I'll come here. Before that, I wasn't driving. I'll take a taxi and I'll come here. I'll spend almost the whole entire time with Dr. Bosch. Dr. Bosch will call me probably at around 12 o'clock at night, 1 o'clock at night, and say, Emran, I lost one document and I have to submit it early in the morning. I'll say, Dr. Bosch, I'm coming. He said, but it's really at night, so you can't try. I'll say, I'll come. I'm coming. And this is what I'll do. When I get to Dr. Bosch, as I'm busy preparing his document, helping him to prepare the document, I check on how he prepared it. He never said to me, sorry, this is how I prepared the document. Sometimes he'll say, no, I'm going to present, go guy. I'll leave with Dr. Bosch to go present. I'll take my cameras and go shooting Dr. Bosch. But as I'm busy shooting Dr. Bosch, I know I wasn't shooting Dr. Bosch. I was literally observing, learning and doing and checking on how he does things. Today, the only reason why I'm able to stand in front of the people and say few words is entirely mainly because I got to learn that from Dr. Bosch. I'm an introvert by nature. I'm one person who doesn't like standing in front of people. Trust me, all of the people who knows me, they'll tell you, Soli doesn't talk. He's always behind the scene. But I'm able to talk in front of people because I got to give myself some time to be next to him, get to check how he prepares his presentation so that next time I can be able to prepare my own presentation. How he presents in front of people, how he breaks the ice in front of people for him to be able to talk. So this is the exact reason why I'm saying the best mentor is made by the best mentee. Because mentors are real people who are always doing the real job on ground. Are people who are always running business. They don't have time. Because mentors are not like motivation speakers. Majority of motivation speakers, all they do best is they sit down, they run a bunch of work, they come present to you, and they'll even tell you things they've never practiced in the real world of work. But people like Dr. Bosch practices things in the real world of work, and they always don't have time to teach one person. They always don't have. Yes, of course, some people might think like Dr. Bosch taught them and all that, but now I've never seen that. Dr. Bosch is somebody who will come to you and say, Emrana, this thing, it's got a problem. How do we solve it? He will never say to you, this is how you have to solve it. Yes. Because he always wants you to be independent and be an independent thinker, a critical thinker. When he comes back to you, he will never say, but this is not how you do it. He will say, but have you tried this? Why? Because he always doesn't want to lower your...
or impose.
So he's that kind of a person. But I'm not going to take long. I know I can talk the whole entire day because of him, because he can talk the whole entire day. So I got to learn from him. So that's all I wanted to say. Delta, and they listen to me next time. Yeah, no man, Delta, thank you so much. At last, I got to be able to get an opportunity to stand in front of my camera. Since I
For the first time.
for the first time.
Thank you so much. In 56 years.
Thank you, Soli. Also, aka my brother, because you picture says, who's another? You picture says. So, in a nutshell, let us remember that a home is a home when there is love and sharing. It's not about the money. All the opportunities sharing the story and the journeys so in closing, Africa engineering transformation will transform lives, not only in Africa but globally. We all know that currency differs from country to country, but Africa is going to claim all of that because we can. We have the tools. Everything we see around the world is because everything made was extracted first in Africa. So let us understand it's Africa to the world, not the other way around. They must come to us for any supplies. Everything listed, all the courses and the best designers. It doesn't matter if you're a mechanic, engineer, speaker, dancer, teacher, so it doesn't matter who you are. In future, we're looking that every possible course will be hosted under the umbrella that is Africa Engineering Transformation. Now, before I let you go, can everybody say it with me? Africa?
Africa.
I need it with conviction. Because I'm a true African. Can you see that?
Yeah.
It's even inked. Everywhere I go, this is it. It's not the Amandla. The fist for me is for Africa, for where I'm from. So Africa?
Africa.
I can't hear you. Africa?
Africa.
Must come from the soul. Africa?
Africa.
Engineering?
Engineering.
Transformation.
Transformation.
You know they say you have to say it first before you can believe it.
Yeah.
Don't say it
Yeah.
conviction. Africa?
Africa.
Engineering?
Engineering.
Transformation.
Transformation.
I can have a more stronger sounding. Otherwise I get one. Africa?
Africa.
Engineering?
Engineering.
Transformation.
Transformation.
We can?
We can.
We will.
We will.
Arwele morao. Forward?
Forward.
Upward?
Upward.
Because
Because
we are the best.
best.
In closing, I'm Dr. Delio. Enjoy and thank you for being at AT launch.
Chaba Rebon. Chaba Rebon. Chaba Rebon. Really, Boha. In the song, you'll see us going down like. Yeah. All right. Really, Boha. O swapile dilo na ke tsebore na go ekere closing remarks by Delta ena e jumper no de diunya compare go morago na ke jumper pele. All right, nna ke tswalla ka ela ya gore ba rile ke tlo fa success stories. So success stories se ke se fang ke gore it's a question re loile ke mang
Makua.
loile ke mang re itoile ne ne that one is better. Hey, ya lo ya ke magwa ito re imela Dr. Snosh wa bone ya re itoile it's a little bit better because lebaka kele if we are the one that bewitched ourselves we cannot do it.
Yes.
But if it was others it was going to be death sentence. One, we are challenging everyone here today to make a pledge in their heart. That is one of the success stories. They thought I was going to talk into history. No. Success story, the pledge that you are making today in your heart, number one, a success story. For 80 as Africans, le Sweden le like in Africa ke le mokwele re mo win o fedile ka ene dumela mme okay. That was number one. Here we cater for the young people who were written off, who were thrown in the dustbin, and today they can walk tall. Today they don't hide. Today they are able to stand on their own, confidently speak what is in their heart, and that for us is a success story. I'm not going to elaborate. I'm not elaborating. I'm just saying we catered for the people who mainstream education said they cannot make it. Mainstream education failed to understand them. And then they said they are the rejects. And we took them out of the dustbins and we believed in them and we learned how they operate.
jealous ne
Down. Jealous down.
Eshcom marnal generator